Good Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gavin Batista again, your host at the Prosperity Channel. Good afternoon and good evening in some parts of Asia who are waiting for this very important breakthrough on the two things, the non-stop pressure of the ICE, the National Guard, and even the Marines, if I may say, to attack the locations where America is weak. What am I talking about? These are the Antifas, these are the drug lords, these are the endless crooks in America in certain states that have completely destroyed that given state. And that is why here in Oklahoma we are hoping that the ICE would also come and clean up the inner cities, if I may say, of the Midwestern states. You're very welcome, Secretary Hegseth, and I think you're doing not only a great job, but you are transforming the department, your department of, now called, as the War Department, or Secretary of War, in order to solve the #1 war in America, which is the likes of the Antifa and other criminal elements destroying America every single day. Because our #1 problem really is crime rate. Robberies that are incessant, non-stop. In fact, there was one black lady that put it very succinctly and very exactly. You know what? If you Asians clean up your act, we blacks will clean up our act. What a beautiful statement. And this came from a very honorable black lady here in Oklahoma City. So if the white supremacists or the white group would clean up their act, then everybody cleans up their act. The Hispanics, for a specific head that is respected by everybody, can clean up this mess overnight. Because as I have said, the only way to do this is if somebody again shoots the likes of a Charlie Kirk tomorrow morning again. It's very obvious that, with due respect to the retired generals of the United States of America, which said that the statements made by the great Secretary Pete Hegseth regarding so many things in the United States that's happening, including the ability to be very physically fit, which some generals said that retired generals, that was too majorish on his part. Well, all I can say, with due respect to the generals, there's nothing majorish about that. What we have is a major crisis. Non-stop killings, non-stop murder in cold blood, non-stop robberies, non-stop thievery. And absolutely, if we have to send the Marines every day because of the lack of support with the police force, then so be it. The Marines, the National Guard, you name it. What are they there for? We depend on them. We depend on the Marines. We depend on Pete Hegseth in order to stop all types of criminality in the #1 nation in the world. It is not really the Hamas that's attacking us. It is these lunatics These Mormons who have killed Kennedy upon Kennedy since time immemorial. And here goes Pete Hegseth, like the way I look at him, he appears to be the style of the strong leadership of General Custer, or a Patton, or a MacArthur. In order to save America from these criminals. And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, one of them approached me a few days ago, and I told them point blank, have you been shot? Have you been shot? I have been shot several times in my life, but I guess my mother prays, goes to Mass every day, and I was able to live another day. Have you been raped? Has your daughter been raped? Has your mother been raped? Has your wife been raped? Have you been robbed? 1 million, 2 million, 7 million, $2 billion, $9 billion. And he could not say a word. Pete Hegseth, the great Secretary of War, is doing us a big favor, ladies and gentlemen. Big, big favor. Because if you have been shot, if your relatives have been raped, your daughter has been raped, you've been robbed, 1 million, 7 million, 10 million, 20 million. I know a person got robbed $9 billion. I think you're going to knock on the door of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth for help. So in a military point of view, what we're doing right now is we are attacking the enemy. And one of the generals said, that is simply unconstitutional. Well, all due respect, General, the Constitution has to be amended at all costs. If not, America will be eaten up alive. And as you know, China is just laughing at us because the investors again are going to us, going to them. Why listen to America? You know, Americans, Europeans, we're better off than America because in China, if you do that, we'll kill you on the spot. And this person got shot because he checked if really I got shot. I got shot. My life was, for a lack of better term, bedangled. Was mashed up like anything for 18 times in order to support U.S. multinational corporations. I won't mention you the names because somebody already approached me not to mention right now they're about $80 billion worth. Another one is about $75 billion. The other one is about $60 billion. The other one is about $66 billion. Don't mention, please, Gavin. Okay, I won't mention it. I'm not a unprofessional guy from CNN who makes money by coming out with half-baked statements. Our statements are strictly, as I would like to say, 8 to 5. Beyond that, that is toilet humor. That is done by certain journalists, probably in the Philippines too, because I'm Filipino-American. But I don't do that. In fact, there was a time when, remember, a few years ago or last year when everybody was talking about, the problem of the marital problems of Bill Gates will result into the downfall of Microsoft. The downfall of Bill Gates. Look at Bill Gates right now. He's never been richer. Why? Because we professionals, businessmen, well, you know, you have to talk about the most important thing, which is what? the issues on hand, not personal issues. That is so low. That is the lowest form of journalistic methodologies. That is even not called a journalistic practice. That is not even called a journalistic practice. Because these are done by uneducated, low-class individuals. We don't do that here at the Prosperity Channel. And as you know, after that separation, Microsoft zoomed to heights that has never been seen before. All over the world, including Europe, which was during that time saying that, Microsoft will not be doing well. That's a lie. Microsoft is doing so well right now. So we business people, I'd like to make this clear to the population at large, is simply don't listen anymore to them. Just simply shut off your channel and move to Fox and to the Prosperity Channel, so you will get accurate facts. You will get rich with money and ideas. And therefore, about the issue of Pete Hegseth, the great Secretary of War, saying that we must all be, the military personnel must be super physically fit. I am all for that. I am in bad condition. In fact, my grandfather, who spent a ton of money, one of the richest during his time, could have lived 140 years old if he exercised well, because his bones were deteriorating. But because of the Scandinavian stem cell during that time, he was the first guy who had stem cell in the 1950s. And I realized that you really have to exercise every day. There's nothing majorish about that. What we have in America is a major catastrophe in law and order. Because the police force cannot do it anymore. I was in Houston, Texas, and I was comparing Houston with California. Oh my God. In California, you really are going to be very nervous going around town, because you might get killed. You might get killed. How? They might ram your car. By the way, as I told you, Nick Cariotes from Century 21, when I was there, the car fell off the ravine intentionally, deliberately. I don't know how I got alive. I don't know how I went to that experience alive. But because of my military training, rule number one is presence of mind. And the car did not explode. It was a Jeep Cherokee, by the way. So what am I trying to say? If these people, realize that they're going to get hit one of these days, that's the only time we'll say, oh yeah, Pete Hegseth is right. Oh, now I get it. Before you know it, you're dead. You're dead. They'll just pull the gun here in America, because they have the right to do that, and they'll just shoot you, just like what happened to Charlie Kirk. An altercation here in America, let's say you're driving your car, somebody passes you and you follow him, they can stop the car, go out of the car, and then shoot you point blank in self-defense. Those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Hegseth is right. I'd rather have an overkill rather than be killed. This cannot continue. And it will stop during the administration of the greatest president ever, in my opinion, Donald Trump. And I will tell you exactly what I have done for America. And what will I do to continue to stay in this great country of ours. Because many have left. Because of the heated, very, very heated conversations that have led to violence. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end this particular segment because we are, as I said, going to tie up with a major television channel all over the world that will be broadcasted all over the world. In other words, I don't have to beg for Channel 4 anymore to air me. No. It will be aired all over the world. And for the first time, a Filipino broadcaster can be listened to by Filipino professionals that appreciate a non-Sangalo language. Because all we hear in GMA7 and even ABS-CBN would be Sangalo language, both in the female and male sector. That will end with the Prosperity Channel. And my guests are all professional. Hindi mga boses bastos, boses Sangalo na wala namang naibibigay sa mga viewers. As I was telling in the Filipino vernacular, you don't have to suffer anymore with people who cannot even speak in a very civil manner or in a manner that is stylish and pleasant to the ears. Not the one that is baroque, very, very toilet humor at that. The Filipinos, especially the Tagalog class, the high-class Tagalogs, are the favorites of the Mandarins of China, are the favorites of the high-class society of Tokyo, Japan, are the favorites of Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, California, are the favorites in Florida. And I can name them one by one. Not these Filipinos who pretend to be something, but actually they have completely, totally destroyed the great Filipino nation at large. And from their voice alone and their choice of words, you very well know that this is all bullshit. It's another bullshitter, as Jack Welch would put it. The great Jack Welch, of course. We will not bullshit you. We know our facts. Of course, we're here to get advertisers, but we're not here to tell lies because we are paid to tell lies like what's happening in CNN. We're not going to do that because we are going to state the facts point blank, and if we made a mistake, we will tell it to you on the air. There's no cover up. Because the trouble with the CNN group is that they already see there's a crime. It's so blatant. And then they do the cover-up statements. How sad. And that's why Antifa is so strong, because Antifa is supported by their group. So don't tell me that Pete Hegseth is not doing a good job. I think he's going to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, heads of the new War Department. Because after all, as my great Harvard brother superstar Andy Bautista would say, if the government acted like a multinational corporation, like Pfizer. I think we will end all of these problems overnight, tomorrow morning. And that is what President Donald Trump is doing. He's not anymore into the political enclave, so to speak. It's all business for Donald Trump, President Trump. Wakes up, I think, 4 in the morning and ends up at about 1 in the morning. Unlike his predecessors who what? I don't know what they did. Especially, I'm shocked. For me, the biggest shocker really was Joe Biden, because I idolized him so much, because I knew he was going to be one of the greatest presidents on the foreign issues that America has had for decades. Look what happened. He entrusted it to what? Anthony Blinken. Look what happened. That cost him his credibility. That cost him his presidency. Look what the great Secretary of State Marco Rubio is doing. Oh my God, he's a machine. His processes are all very business processes with diplomatic flavor. And of course, his acumen is, oh my God. What is this? What I would like to term, if I may say, Secretary Rubio, presidentiable of being presidentiable. They were always telling me back in Asia, I am the professional's professional. Well, Marco Rubio, Secretary Rubio, is so presidential that he's the presidentiable of the presidentiable, of the presidentiables all over the world. Because he solved the problem quickly on the Hamas versus Israel, using all the connections he had all over the world. And he did it in record time. And you can just imagine right now the I don't know, euphoric feeling of the Hamas group and the Israelites, because if Secretary Rubio and Donald Trump was there 4 years ago, this would have never happened. Never. Never. Just like what's happening right now with Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Colgate-Palmolive, they're now going all back to me. They're telling me, if we hired you as a CEO, this pathetic numbers would never have arose. Icky, I will call it icky numbers. Yuck. Because they were always saying, oh, no. You're over, Gammon. Just get out of here. We can do the job. That's what they told me. And quickly I got out. And you know what they're doing every day? Especially this alumnus of Procter & Gamble. Oh my God. They're knocking on my door every day. Every day. Hey, Nancy. Oh, Nancy is my wife. Nancy, what is Gavin doing? What's up with Gavin? Nancy, give us the latest with Gavin Batista. Is that the way to do it? Is that the civilized way to do it? And that's why most of the white people in these multinational corporations look down at Filipinos as the sick man of Asia. You don't do that in America. You can probably do that in the Philippines, but never in America. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really have to go because I am already being signaled here that we will have another speaking engagement. But thank you for listening. See you next time. I will make sure that this, as I promised, this will be every morning and evening, because that is what our sponsors would like all over the world. Again, all over the world, not just in America. I'm not going to be begging Channel 4. No more. We will do it on our own, okay? We will do the initiative, and we will save America from these criminals. Good night. Thank you, and I will see you shortly. This is Gavin Batista, your host at the Prosperity Channel. See you